The word local content is synonymous with the extractive industries. In Uganda, I think the phrase is new. It is most common in countries that have developed natural resources generally. It means, in simple words, the involvement of the indigenous communities in the development of the resource.
The natural resources such as oil and gas, once they are discovered in an area, the local communities tend to think that that's the end of poverty. In most cases, that is not correct unless strategic approaches have been implemented to actually chase the poverty. But the resources may come and the poverty remains, depending on how you manage them.
I'm Rebecca Savagazi. I'm the District Natural Resources Officer, Wakiso District. I was part of the consulting team that prepared a physical development plan for the Albertine Graben. And in so doing, I was on ground in Hoima, in Masindi, in Bushenyi, in Mbarara, several districts, looking at the agriculture aspects, interacting with the Hoima District Farmers Association, interacting with land issues, veterinary services, markets, people. How do they see themselves ready to harness, to be part of this new development in this nation? We need to work together as the local government, and when this subject matter comes on board, oil and gas, we need to prepare our communities.
The empowerment starts with the district. If the district is empowered, we shall ensure that the local communities are also empowered such that they can benefit from the oil and gas activities.
Local content, of course, at the national level, is regarded as national content. National content in the sense that we are talking about utilization of available skills, available labor, available materials, available services in the industry. Currently in Hoima, if we gauge ourselves in terms of utilization of the industry in terms of local content, if we were to put ourselves on a scale of 100%, if we were to use a percentage, I would say it's around 10% of how the communities, of how the business sector, of how every other stakeholder is participating and benefiting from the industry. I would put it at around 10%. PAO has declared that if you are to supply the industry, you must register with PAO. And they have put in place a system for that.
What they're trying to do is to build some kind of a data bank. If you are, for example, a qualified plumber, they put you there. If you are a qualified welder, they put you there. If you are a certified electrician, they put you there. If you're an engineer, they put you there. So that at some stage, when someone is looking for plumbers, they do not have to go to newspapers to look for plumbers. They can just go to that database and look for a plumber, get their contact, call them and invite them to come and do an interview. Basically, it's a process which is actually a good process because it will mean that people have opportunities to be looked for in one place.
So in that national suppliers database, how many Hoima people are there? Of course, at the national level, we have been getting figures. The foreigners who have registered and the Ugandans who have registered. But still those figures, we dispute them. If you go into the details, probably, you may find there are not so many Ugandans.
Government has tried to prepare us for the oil and gas. They have put relevant laws, like protecting the local content. They have tried to extend to us the registration of companies. Like today, you can walk into URA offices and you register your company. Uganda Registration Services Bureau is there. The Hoima Municipal Council is there. So you can walk in and get one a certificate of incorporation of your company, you get a trading license, and you get a TIN number, which identifies you as a taxpayer. So those three, you can start now maybe going into business as a legal entity. Some businesses are not registered, so that has been a challenge. They rush quickly to enrich their homes, and they don't look at maybe registering their farms with the government departments, and you can't do business unless you are registered with the tax bodies and all those relevant bodies in order to be able to do business with them. So that has been a challenge.
Actually, also us as HODIFA in the initial stages, the perception was that it was something very difficult and to work with. But then when we got sensitization from PAO through our certain engagements, for us what we met, and they were telling us that this is a precondition for all suppliers who wish to qualify, maybe to be qualified for supplies to the oil and gas industry. We realized it was something very, very important. And for us, we went ahead to do the registration. So we have formalized our registration with the PAO as I talk. We are already in the suppliers database. I think that's very, very important. It can also, I think, help us link up with other strategic partners where we can say collectively, maybe let's try to work together and tap into the opportunities that are coming with the oil industry.
Most people here don't have registered companies. They work as individuals. Telling them to join as a group, it is very hard. Because if you tell them to supply, because for the oil and gas industry, it depends on the way you agree on the terms of payment. They don't pay cash. They will come and tell you at any time you want to supply, has suppliers food. We have 100 people. We want 100 trays of eggs. You're supposed to deliver them and you wait for the time of payment. If it is 1 month, you wait. But here people have little capital. The working capital is not enough. Someone cannot supply consecutively for one month. No, it is very hard. That's the problem that people are facing. Most people are complaining. They are not registered. Their companies are not registered. They don't register with URA. Those are the things which are needed to be registered on the national database. That's the big challenge that people are still facing. They have tried to open an office at the district, those of petroleum authority, so that people should access and get inquiries on how to register. But still people are still having that negative attitude. They don't want to work together. They have that culture. So what I can see to improve on that is they need some training or to be taught how to join groups to work together.
The oil industry is a unique industry. For example, if you are to supply agricultural products, you must meet specific volumes and over a period of time. And since most of our farmers are small scale, they may not individually be able to produce these volumes. So what we are saying is that they need to come together. The farmers, if they are cooperative, they must come together and produce the volumes which are required. And then be able to supply these volumes consistently over a given period of time. And this is an area which has been a big challenge. We had it in Bulisa one time when one of our farmers came out and said I would supply meat. And of course the companies agreed to give a challenge to this person. But this meat could not be supplied over a longer period of time. I think it was 1 week. The gentleman was already dry. We also had a similar case for eggs. So this is a weakness with us as local governments, and we are trying to address that, to mobilize our farmers, to make sure they come into groups, they operate as groups. We are appealing to partners, NGOs and other organizations, CSOs, because as local governments, we don't have enough resources to do this work in the communities alone. So we need the NGOs to come in, we need the CSOs to help us. So that we mobilize these farmers into groups. We make them into cooperatives, which are entities that will be recognized by government to participate in the industry.
If someone is able to get skills in the oil and gas sector, it means he can work anywhere. In other words, the skills in the oil and gas sector are transferable. I want to give an example. If you are a welder in the oil and gas sector, it means you can weld anywhere in the world. If you are a farmer, if you supply good products in the industry, it means you can supply anywhere in the world. So if we are able to build the oil and gas sector, we can be able to transfer the skills and capabilities to other areas. Therefore, the oil sector can become the engine of growth. It can spur development of other sectors of the economy. That interlinkage between the agriculture, industry, and the other sectors of the economy can be key to transforming the country.
To start business here in Hoima, I was living in Kampala and I was an engineer with the government. So I went private, but I would import workers from Kampala. So I looked at why shouldn't I train some people here, the locals, so that we can work to the standards. So I took them on in my company, but later I realized they need the technical training. So we have sponsored some students to go to the vocational, the VTIs, and we have employed some of them here. So that's how I also started the workshop, so that I can have some quality work that is in the method fabrication. And we have got a fully fledged workshop here, and we have been producing good work. So all the works I do where there is fabrication, we fabricate them from here. The ones we have used at the airport, we're using the oil companies, we fabricate them ourselves here. And they have been accepted. Only that the international companies have also been assisting us for the international certification. Yes, so like Q sourcing, they have been training our children for that in the VTIs of Himba. But we also train them here. When they come for skills, we take them on so that we can have a community that is really technical.
The formal training, it has helped me to some of issues like asking for a job, like the way I came here. So, and I got many experience about welding and metal fabrication from there at school.
Government, through the Ministry of Education, is working on a comprehensive skills development program to address areas of skilling, especially the vocational skills and technician skills, because they are key in the industry. So, the Ministry of Education is working alongside its agencies to ensure that we support the vocational institutions in this country and technical institutions to be able to develop the capability that will support the oil and gas industry. In this respect, probably to make some highlights, the government has been engaging with the CITA and the Guild. CITA and the Guild, they are certification bodies. The oil and gas industry requires international certification, and one of the certifications, especially for mechanical engineers and welders, is CITA and the Guild. Others are OPITO, there is NEBOSH, and others.
St. Simon Peter's Vocational Training Center is a Catholic-founded institution that was started by the missionaries of Africa in the year 1985. As an institution, we have a mandate to train citizens and skill them with technical skills. I would recommend the government to really come up with the policies that can especially help privately owned institutions like St. Simon Peter's Vocational Training Center. I will give an example. We wrote a concept, and this concept indeed was about helping us to be accredited with an international certification center. Because all along we've been working with the Assessment and Skilling Center, St. Simon, we don't have an internationally accredited center. So we wanted to have this center. GIZ had helped us with the funds to conduct an assessment such that we can work closely to fill these gaps, such that we are able to get to this center. So we said, okay, fine, these are the gaps we have. How do we fill them up? in terms of equipment, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of human resource, mention it. So we came up with this proposal and we won, and we reached at the final selection, but we were ruled out by this government policy.
Supplies which we are supposed to make to these oil companies are supposed to go with standards. Now, government has had a challenge in this. Even as a production officer now here in Hoima, I don't have a blueprint. I don't have a write-up which shows the standard that we are supposed to follow. Which standards probably would have used to train our farmers, which we have used to tell our farmers that please produce this standard which is required by the market.
When you come to these other NGOs, they have tried to give us information. We also have other players like the banks. I bank with Stanbic, and Stanbic has got what they call business incubator. They're trying to train companies where we have got gaps. They train you on how you can train and also be compliant to the standards which they want. That if you want to do business, please, you must make sure you are right with the tax body, your human resource, they should know the labor laws. And some of us, we have been actually ignorant about that. You get some people, you hire them, you don't have an appointment letter, he works for a year or two, and that is it. But they are trying to tell us, please, can you have appointment letters? Can you follow the rules and regulations? So it's a good program we have enrolled. We're in the next cohort, which is beginning next month. So as a company, we shall be training. And there are so many success stories related to that. And I believe after that, we shall be able to also compete favorably in oil and gas. When you come to the clubs around, like I'm a member of Major Business Club, they have been linked to Uganda Investment Authority. When investors come into Uganda and they're interested in the Bunyoro side, they link up with Bunyoro Business Club. And in case there is any member who can maybe provide a service to this investor, is given an opportunity. I am actually a beneficiary of one. Yeah, there is a Devonish farm from Ireland. It came here to rear pigs, and they wanted to put up piggery houses plus a feed mill. And we got the chance to do that project. And however, it was a competitive one. We competed, but I won the tender. And it was around 1.5 billion. And I did it in just 6 months. So that's how also the business club has helped us to expose us to the big farm. Because when you don't come together as a group, there's no way now government can come in to help you individually. So it has also been a good thing.
With the presence of Hoima District Farmers Association, with their experience in farming, in getting people together in groups to make farmer groups, you can't tell me tomorrow you have nowhere to fix yourself. Start small as a group, as a savings group, for instance.
5, 6, 7.
I know in that savings group you have an executive. Get that executive. Let them reach Hoima District Farmers Association, for instance. Let them invite some competent people to come and take them through how one can register, how people can register in the database. If you can't manage register with Kampala, register under somebody else, under another organized team. For instance, Hodifa, they are organized. Most of us in Hoima are farmers. If they are organized, if they can't organize you to form your own independent team, join them so that you are part of them.
What can work is partnerships. If people feel, for example, around the Graben, They can remain in their different associations, like you find in Masindi District Farmers Association, you'll find in Noya or Ntoroko, DFA or Kagadi. Chikuve now has come up also of recent. We could support the other upcoming farmers groups and they work collectively to be able to make supplies that benefit the entire group.
Tukaikoramu katebe kaitu savinga kabakyara saving amagezi nago tukagatunga twayokoramu kunanka okwanika mukena bakaza twanika mukene e business tukorakora business utekamu gurufu na baseja na bakazi nturwanisa ntukoraga buntu kuruga magezi ga maendeleo ya jamii.
We started Hogacha from the MSF multi-stakeholder forums in Kampala at Grand Imperial. So as communities, after seeing that MYJ was helping us, so we decided to ask MYJ to help us and at least to organize ourselves, and then we start our own association such that we can help ourselves, not waiting for any other NGOs or any other person to come and help us. Because we thought that when we organize ourselves in one association, at least there we can have one voice and push to solve our problems.
SAID is Community Empowerment for Development, which was formed and started by 5 villages. And these villages were members of multi-stakeholders forum. One of the multi-stakeholders forum we had in Grand Imperial, supported and facilitated by MYJ. We had a model farmer by names of Yaranga John. He shared with us his experience as one of the farmers who have tapped in an opportunity in oil and gas sector, whereby he is supplying different crops and different products to the industry. So Yaranga was such a kind of a facilitator who uses experience, and on top of that was a common man who is not very much educated, but he used the opportunity surrounding him, like he had a little garden, but in that little garden he was earning beyond 20 million per season. So as I said, we borrowed that idea because earlier on we had a plan to start up a SAID project being managed by SAID as an association. But we realized when we picked the advice from Yaranga, we say now, if SAID is managing the project, how will the members benefit who are registered with SAID? So we changed our idea that let every member or every member village, SAID will advise them to start up their own project, but when it comes to marketing, we shall collect our product and market together when we have got an opportunity from oil and gas industry, even maybe from supplier.
Mr. Vyaruhanga himself is a farmer and is a model farmer. MYJ organized a multi-stakeholder forum. We learned a lot of things. We had his training whereby he trained our people in Kampala. It was theory, part of it. But now we have brought them to the garden, to the farm, to come and see practically what he does. MYJ also brought for us some people to train us on local content. We had a gentleman called Mugarura. He came us, he taught us more about local content, how we can register our companies, if at all we are having them, to register our companies, such that they can also get contracts in oil and gas opportunities. He also told us that we have to register with the Uganda Petroleum Authority, such that everybody to get or to access opportunities in oil and gas. If you want to work with them, if you want to get a contract there, you have to be registered with Uganda Petroleum Authority. We also had Mr. Julius from Hoima District Farmers Association. He told us that for them, at least they have penetrated, they registered with Uganda Petroleum Authority. You advised us to join HODIFA such that you can access the market of our products. and he encouraged us to go back and at least organize our farmers, of which it's the same thing we are doing as Hogacha. We learned that from Julius of Hodifa, because he told us to organize our farmers, and it's what we are doing now. We are doing it in apiculture, aquaculture, and horticulture. That's why we have started with trainings, such that we prepare our people as Hogacha. We want to prepare our people for these opportunities which we think that we can access them when we are prepared. We appreciate the team of MYJ for having helped us to train our people.
This is why I come in to appreciate Maendeleo ya Jamii for this kind of efforts, for putting a platform where we can share, have, for example, challenges that the different farmers' organizations are going through, shared, and collectively we seek for solutions or remedies that can help address some of the challenges that they are going through.
And at the end of the day, anybody who is serious, anybody who is hardworking, anybody who considers quality as paramount will benefit.
Even if you start now, if you are serious, you also get the money. From what? Oil and company.